Story we told you that absolutely everything that the hero experienced, the invitation was open for you to read the book with intuition. What I didn't tell you, entire book, story. What he had to go through from being a beautiful old soul who was very pleased and happy with who he was, to an enlightened soul who understood fully who he was. All the things that took place in the book, one by one, was a precursor of information and knowledge and wisdom about the shift. One of the things that was the most difficult for Michael Thomas to go through was where he had to release his baggage. And in the story, it is told that an angel that Michael Thomas was with and loved and appreciated looked at Michael Thomas and said, "I couldn't help but notice that you're carrying some baggage." And the angel said that the baggage would unbalance him because he had actually reframed himself and had reworked himself to the place where he had accepted some gifts and tools that were new, that he was wearing and carrying. But if he had his baggage, he wouldn't be able to use the new tools. And so the angel said, "Release it now. Let me take it and hold it for you. I'll walk beside you. Just let me carry it for you." And Michael Thomas backed up and said, "Don't touch my stuff." And he walked out the door, and the angel knew what was next and didn't say a word. Dear ones, you have to know this, that the beauty of free choice means that you're not going to be admonished, pulled back, and said, "Don't do that, don't do that." That's not going to happen. Because once your choice of free choice is made, you can go anywhere you want. And Michael walked into a storm. And the storm actually forced him into a decision. He could keep his stuff and be destroyed by the storm. The winds were enormous. Or he could release his baggage and survive. It's a metaphor for understanding and awakening to new truths. He wasn't going to be killed. He simply would not be able to move ahead into a new paradigm unless he released the baggage. As the story goes, Michael Thomas indeed released his baggage. And in the story, the baggage that he had was the personal things that he held dear to himself and the truths that he had, and all wrapped up into metaphoric things that he carried around with him, and he released it. And if that weren't bad enough, the storm tore it apart. It was being released. He saw it go to shreds, and he stood there seemingly without anything. Seemingly without anything. For a little while, according to the story, Michael was mad at God. He accused the angel later of a scenario, a system that said, "Well, I see how things work here in this magic land. If I don't do what you say, you're just going to do it to me anyway." He was mad. And the retort of the angel with that accusation was as follows. Michael, you ask who gives permission to take away your stuff? You did when you decided to go on this journey and call yourself an awakened old soul. What is the definition of bad stuff or difficulty going through this? And that is what we're going to talk about now. Michael Thomas released his baggage all at once. Some of you don't. Some of you are very attached to certain things. And you will find that you will release some things and not others. You're still out of balance, dear ones. In the room right now, there are those who've released a lot, but not all. There are those who've released all, and there are those who release none. It doesn't change the fact that you are an old soul sitting here or listening.
Rather than you get a painting entitled Poet Drinking by Moonlight, and you see a great landscape, and after some search with a magnifying glass, at last you see the poet stuck away in a corner somewhere drinking wine. Whereas if we painted the subject Poet Drinking by Moonlight, the poet would be the most obvious thing in the picture. There he would be, dominating the whole thing, the landscape off somewhere behind it. But all the Chinese painters put man, the painters of the great classical tradition, there are Chinese painters who specialize in family portraits, these very formal paintings, someone's ancestor sitting on the throne. Quite a different category. But the Taoist-inspired painters, Zen-inspired painters, have this view of man as an integral part of nature, something in it, just as everything else is in it, flowers and birds, and not there, sent into this world, commissioned by some sort of supernatural being to come into this world and harm it. The whole conception of nature is as a self-regulating, self-governing, indeed democratic organism. But it has a totality. It all goes together, and this totality is the Tao. When we speak in Taoism of following the course of nature, following the way, what it means is more like this. Doing things in accordance with the grain. It doesn't mean you don't cut wood, but it means that you cut wood along the lines where wood is most easy to cut. And you interact with other people along lines which are the most genial. And this, then, is the great fundamental principle, which is called Wu Wei.
In all honesty,
Not
I knew when I first saw you.
I think that's the best translation.
That
It's
one
not
day
doing,
to be
not acting,
holding
not
my
interfering, but not to force.
no
Seems to
twist
me
of
that it's the nail on the
fate
head.
to separate
Like, don't ever force a lock,
from me.
while you bend the key or break the lock. You jiggle until it revolves. So Wu Wei is
We watched
always
the
to act
fairies
in
floating
accordance
in
with
the
the pattern of
sky.
things as they exist.
We
Don't
watched
impose
the light
on any
fade
situation
dark outside.
a kind of interference
And
that is
I
not
knew
really in accordance with the situation. For example, we have a slum, and the people are in difficulty and so on, and they need better housing. Now, if you go in with a bulldozer and knock the slum down, and you arrive and put in its place some architect's imaginative notions of what is a super efficient high-rise apartment building to store people, you create total mess, utter chaos. As see that life, that the so-called conflict of various species with each other is not actually a competition. It's a very strange system of interrelationship, of things feeding on each other,
We watched the fairies float
the idea of
in the
friendly,
sky. We
necessary
watched the light
It is
fade
part of
dark
you.
outside.
You have conflicts going on in your own body. All kinds of microorganisms are eating each other up. And if that wasn't happening, you wouldn't be healthy. So all those interrelationships, whether they appear to be friendly relationships as between bees and flowers, or conflicting relationships as between birds and birds,
We watched the light fade dark outside.
lack